continues. And so does the work here in the pits, feverishly, just trying to get 4 trucks to move on to the round of 4. Already the fastest truck tonight is out. Excalibur could not answer the bell for the semifinals. So as we roll them out now to begin this final 4, take a look at who's left. Barely Tame will replace Equalizer in this round of 4. Equalizer have replaced Gravedigger, but now it's Barely Tame against the Carolina Crusher. And in the second race, it'll be Rambo replacing Excalibur against the Predator. So as the King Crunch works for another day, the business at hand tonight is ready to go down on the track. Here's the voice of Monster Truck Challenge. Here's Joe Lowe.
A Barely Tame Carolina Crusher matchup. One goes to the finals. We're with Gary Porter of the Crusher, who's having trouble of his own this weekend.
You know, I'm having to run in 2-wheel drive this weekend, and I'm just out there, you know, more or less just trying to play the survival game right now.
When you went back after your first run, did you do anything different to the truck?
Yeah, I adjusted the suspension some to try to take some of the bounce out of it. In the first run, you know, when I went over the cars, the truck had a little bounce to it, so I adjusted the shocks and tried to take that out of it. And I'm trying to get it so I can get around the corners a little bit faster also.
Now, Doug Spanier drives Barely Tame. Doug, have you done anything different to the truck between rounds?
We're going to lean the truck out a little bit, and I think we'll have the fuel mixture right for that and run it. I mean, the track is smooth. The finish line, I think the harder you hit it, the smoother you land. So I'm going to run it.
So much for talking. Let's get racing. Barely Tame Carolina Crusher off the line. Barely Tame gets him. Now remember, Gary Porter already told you he was running in 2-wheel drive. And whoa, look out, Gary. Not much control when you only have 2-wheel drive in these tight turns. And Barely Tame turns it on. We're only halfway through this race. Whoa! That is getting tough on that landing over turn number 1. Around they go. Into turn 3. Around turn number 4. Barely Tame takes the big blue Ford home. Doug Spanier a win. Gary Porter limps over the cars. And Doug Spanier's in the finals in Louisville, Kentucky. Our next matchup, Rambo and Predator. We're with Alan PEZO of Predator right now. Alan, what's going on in your pit?
We got her dialed in now, and I think we're going to be better next round yet. We got a lot more left in her.
What exactly did you do to the truck?
We went back and made a few suspension adjustments for the tilt on the bank on the course and re-geared it.
But what's going on with Rambo right now? Jim Clark is with Bill Weaver. Did you do anything different on this run from your previous run?
No, I really didn't have much time. I think we might do a couple gear changes tonight.
Not much on words, Bill Weaver, but he does his talking on the track, and he's gotten here in the semifinals. One's going to the finals. Is it going to be the Predator, or is it going to be Rambo? Rambo catching up. The Predator on the inside track. Allen first to hit the cars in Predator. Rambo high flying. He does a lot of bouncing. Predator screws out first. He gains a little bit of yardage there, but Rambo's catching up. Predator turns it on. They're coming down. This is the home stretch. Side by side. Rambo and Predator. Who's it going to be? The win goes to Predator. And Alan PEZO walks into the finals in Louisville. He'll go up against Barely Tame.
So after a full night of racing, here is one of the 2 trucks left standing. Barely Tame. Here's a truck that knocked off Tropical Thunder and the Equalizer and the Carolina Crusher. And now, Barely Tame goes up against the Predator in the finals. It's a great matchup, a Ford against a Chevy. And we'll have it for you in just a second when Monster Truck Challenge continues right here on ESPN. Monster Truck Challenge continues, and here's what it's boiled down to. A Ford against a Chevy. Barely Tamed against Predator. On this racetrack, that's what the finals are tonight, and the winner takes all here in Louisville. For the call of this race, for the climax of a great evening of racing, let's go trackside to the voice of Monster Truck Challenge, and you know that's Joe Lowe.
Ken, both these guys have been around the track several times now. Alan PEZO with Predator standing by with our own Jim Clark. Let's see what's going on in his camp.
What special strategy are you going to use in this race?
Well, like I say, we have to be real good in the corners, run a good smooth race, keep it on the ground, but we can make good time. If we get in the air, we're going to lose time, so we need to keep it on the ground and hope for the best.
That's Alan PEZO out of Millington, Michigan, driving the Predator in our final tonight against Doug Spanier and Barely Tame. Jim Clark's down with Doug right now.
What are you going to do differently in this final?
Nothing. The truck's working excellent. I mean, a little bit of fuel adjustment, we got that down. The truck seems to be working great, so we're just topping it off with fuel and check it over, and it'll be back out here.
Doug Spanier, a veteran driver, has great control over his truck. Matter of fact, one of the only trucks out here that has not suffered any damage. Predator, Barely Tame, make your pick, because we're ready to go. Predator off to an early lead, but he's on the inside lane. Now, Alan has had some handling problems tonight. Doug Spanier has been running flawlessly, and look at this. The Predator does. He spins around. He spins out. Barely Tame. Barely Tame takes the big Ford over the cars. Predator's able to smooth out, turn it around. He does an entire circle on the track, but he's got to play a lot of catch-up. Barely Tame doesn't take time to look back, and Doug Spanier goes over the cars and into the winner's circle in Louisville. Smoke coming from the engine, but Doug Spanier is number one. You know, the Ford truck is built in Louisville, and the crowd loves to see the Fords win. Now, Predator is a Chevy, and we're seeing a Chevy show here. A donut. Right in the middle of the race, he decides to cut a donut on the infield. And Barely Tame takes the advantage right there. He spins on and up and over and into the winner's circle, and Predator's left behind. Jim Clark standing by with Doug.
Doug Spanier and Barely Tame. Boy, what a wild night this has been, but you came out on top.
I think this was my night because last year I was kind of unfortunate with hitting the wall. Like I said earlier, I think the truck had vengeance for this track. It was running by itself, I think.
You know, you were watching the Predator all night, and anything you did differently in this race?
I stayed on it all the way because I ran all the way to the end. I said, why should I quit now? That's what I told myself. That's what we all said down in the pit before I come out here. You're in the finals, might as well take it. You're come this far.
Ken, that's going to do it from Louisville, Kentucky, home of fast horses and wild monster truck racing. Thank you, Joe. Doug Spanier behind the wheel of this truck has left them all cheering in Louisville. That's Monster Truck Challenge for tonight.